we've been sold a lie packaged in a $200 glass jar. For decades, the skincare industry has hailed topical collagen creams as the fountain of youth. But what if you could signal your body to build its own scaffolding? Today, we are ranking the 20 best to worst anti-aging plants. Let's dive in. 1. Astragalus, the telomere guardian. Why number 1? The most potent plant for DNA protection, containing TAT2 to help activate telomerase. The power: telomeres are protective caps on your DNA that shorten as you age. Astragalus maintains these caps, extending the replicative life of your cells. The edge: a powerful adaptogen that shields the heart and immune system from the erosion caused by chronic stress. 2. Turmeric, the master signaling switch. Why number 2? Curcumin is a pleiotropic molecule that hits almost every major aging pathway simultaneously. The power: it activates the longevity gene, SGRT1, and inhibits NF-κB, the primary trigger for systemic inflammation. The edge: the ultimate defense against inflammaging, the chronic inflammation driving heart disease and cognitive decline. 3. Green tea, the autophagy trigger. Why number 3? Contains EGCG, a polyphenol acting as a cellular janitor to clean metabolic waste. The power: triggers autophagy, where cells recycle their own damaged components, preventing the junk protein buildup associated with neurological decline. The edge: linked to longer telomeres and a significantly lower biological age compared to non-drinkers. 4. Ashwagandha, the cortisol shield. Why number 4? The premier herb for reversing stress-induced aging by keeping the body in a state of repair. The power: slashing cortisol by up to 30% prevents the weathering effect stress hormones have on the brain and skin. The edge: clinical trials show it can increase telomerase activity by nearly 45%, making it a dual threat for longevity. 5. Pomegranate, the mitophagy expert. Why number 5? The only natural source of urolithin A precursors, which reboot cellular power plants. The power: triggers mitophagy, the selective clearing of dysfunctional mitochondria, ensuring cells have the energy to repair DNA. The edge: acts like a battery refresh for muscles and the heart, keeping them structurally younger. 6. Gotu kola, the brain architect. Why number 6? Known as the herb of longevity, it focuses on neuroregeneration and venous health. The power: increases brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, which acts like Miracle-Gro for brain cells to keep memory sharp. The edge: simultaneously boosts type 1 collagen, keeping skin and blood vessels resilient. 7. Rhodiola rosea, the cellular energizer. Why number 7? A high-altitude adaptogen that prevents cellular fatigue and oxidative burnout. The power: enhances ADP, energy, production efficiency. Laboratory models suggest it can extend lifespan by up to 20%. The edge: protects the heart from catecholamine damage caused by sudden spikes in adrenaline. 8. Blueberries, the anthocyanin shield. Why number 8? The most accessible brain food, packed with pigments that cross the blood-brain barrier. The power: anthocyanins neutralize free radicals in the brain and improve signaling between neurons. The edge: highly effective for cognitive longevity, though it requires high daily consumption for maximum therapeutic effect. 9. Broccoli, the sulforaphane engine. Why number 9? Activates the NRF2 pathway, the body's most powerful internal antioxidant defense system. The power: helps the body detoxify carcinogens and switches on over 200 genes that protect against oxidative stress. The edge: the best plant for preventing the metabolic aging caused by environmental toxins. 10. Garlic, the vascular guard. Why number 10? A cardiovascular powerhouse focusing on the biological age of your arteries. The power: produces hydrogen sulfide, a signaling gas that relaxes blood vessels and reduces age-related stiffness. The edge: effectively lowers vascular age, keeping the body's delivery system clear and flexible. Aloe vera, the hydration anchor. Why number 11? Not just for sunburns, it's a secret fibroblast activator. The power: it contains asamanin, which helps skin cells produce more hyaluronic acid naturally. The edge: ranked lower because while it plumps the skin beautifully, it lacks the heavy-hitting remodeling power of rosehip or sea buckthorn. 12. Pomegranate, the sun scavenger. Why number 12? Rich in ellagic acid, which prevents collagen breakdown after sun exposure. The power, it strengthens the skin's upper layers, making them more resilient to environmental tearing. The edge, excellent as a supporting ingredient in a serum, but rarely strong enough to be used as a standalone anti-agar. 13. Horsetail, the silica specialist. Why number 13? An ancient plant that is essentially liquid minerals for your skin. The power, it is the highest source of organic silica, the glue that holds collagen together. The edge, mostly effective as a tea or supplement. Topically, its effects are limited compared to botanical oils. 14. Rosemary, the glycation guard. Why number 14? Specifically targets the damage caused by high-sugar diets on skin elasticity. The power, rosmarinic acid prevents the stiffening of collagen fibers. The edge, very effective for stiff skin, but ranked lower due to its potential to irritate sensitive skin types. 15. Calendula, the barrier builder. Why number 15? The gentle giant of the list, focusing on the epidermis, the top layer. The power, rich in carotenoids, it speeds up the healing of microcracks in the skin. The edge, perfect for glass skin texture, but does very little for deep-set forehead or 11 lines. 16. Ginkgo biloba, the circulation stimulator. Why number 16? Increases the delivery of nutrients to the skin via improved blood flow. The power, it boosts fibroblast activity, but its effects are often subtle and take months to manifest. The edge, often seen as an average anti-agar, reliable, but rarely produces, wow, results on its own. 17. Schisandra berry, the stress shield. Why number 17? A buzzworthy entrant that protects the mitochondria, the power plants of your skin cells. The power, it keeps cells energetic so they can continue repairing themselves as you sleep. The edge, ranked lower because the research is still burgeoning and consistent, high-quality extracts are hard to find. 18. Witch hazel, the temporary firmer. Why number 18? Provides an immediate tightening effect due to high tannin content. The power, it constricts pores and mops up free radicals. The edge, ranked low because the effect is largely cosmetic. It tightens the surface but doesn't do the deep structural work required to reverse a wrinkle. 19. Licorice root, the spot corrector. Why number 19? Primarily focused on hyperpigmentation rather than physical wrinkles. The power, it contains liquiritin and glabridin, which break down excess melanin. The edge, it makes you look younger by evening out skin tone, but it doesn't actually rebuild the collagen matrix. 20. Comfrey, the cell renewer. Why number 20? Contains allantoin, which sheds dead skin cells. The power, it helps smooth the texture of the skin, making wrinkles look less prominent by removing the dust on the surface. The edge, it's at the bottom because it's primarily a surface-level healer. Useful, but not a collagen-reversing miracle. So what's the verdict? If you're looking to truly replace that expensive collagen cream, you don't need a lab, you need a garden.